you weren't available for the playoffs last year, but the year before when you came back, you were probably the team's most reliable player. So this year, full season, how are you feeling going into round one?
Yeah, I feel great. I think the team's been playing well. And, I think just there's a good vibe around the rink and practice and everything, so I'm pretty excited to get going.
This season seems like it's been just such a big, important season for you, and at the end of it, you get a chance to make your NHL debut after, a long couple of seasons. What was that like, and how has that prepared you for everything going forward?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was, just trying to take in everything I could every day. Every day I kind of learned something new, whether it was just practice or in a game, so it was a lot to kind of take in, but I had a blast, and it was obviously a dream come true, so big for my family as well, and had to overcome a lot, so it kind of felt good to kind of just have that that feel good moment that I went through everything and I still made it happen.
You're 24, but now that you've played in the full season, you're still kind of in that mix of the younger guys who's really a veteran at this point. You wore the A bunch this year, and now that you've made that NHL debut, does that seem to give you maybe a heightened sense of experience going into the Calder Cup Playoffs this year? You
know what? In a way it does. I only played like 7 games, but it just kind of opened my eyes so much more, and so coming back down here, I feel like I just am more aware of stuff, you know what I mean, little things. So I think I've been trying to see the game a little bit differently and just try to use whatever I learned up top there to try to dominate down here. So I think I'm really excited to kind of get going and help lead this team. I think we got a good team, and I'm just really hoping I can do my best to help my team as much as possible.
There's been a couple other guys that are kind of in that similar scenario where younger but been around a few years, the Sammies, the Turks, who both made their debuts, and also Tyler Madden. What's it been like coming up through the organization with that kind of core group of guys these last couple of years, and how has that benefited you guys with the Reign?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously, we all started together on that really young team in 2020, and I had a tough start. It was a tough year, but I think we finished pretty good and learned a lot. And then obviously it's been better and better each year from there. So I think that's kind of why we're all really excited for the season. And with the guys that we've added and stuff like that, like we think we have a really strong team. And I think just having that tight bond of knowing we're in it together from day one is important, especially in playoffs. So we're all really excited.
So you guys, come back for another chance at the playoffs this year. You mentioned the guys that you added. What specifically do you think makes this team different from some of the past groups you've been with come playoff time?
Yeah, I think we just have a little bit of everything. I think we have our big, tall guys. We have our defensive defensemen who can shut guys down. We have our offensive defensemen. So I think we're just a well-rounded team, and I think we have a little bit of everything, and that's pretty much what like championship teams have, right? They don't just have the same type of players; they have a variety, and I think because we have threats in all different areas, I think it's going to be hard for other teams to try to combat come playoffs. We've had a lot of injuries throughout the year, if you think about it, and I think this is almost, I feel like, one of the first times we've had like everyone on board, whether it's guys being up, guys being hurt, and everything. So I think that's really important, right? When you have all your guys, I think you can truly play to your full potential. We've had to go through stretches without a bunch of players, I feel like, throughout the season, and we've responded pretty good to that. So I think having everyone on board and even certain guys playing harder than normal because they don't want to get taken out of the lineup is important too, right? There's really good players kind of out of the lineup, so I think everyone's just going to be hungry, and today we had a good practice and a lot of energy, so I think we're going to start the playoffs really well.
You guys clinched a couple of weeks ago, so you still got a handful of games to play before the regular season comes to a close. So you guys clinched the home ice, you end up getting the 3rd seed. What do you think you learned about maybe yourself or your teammates these final few weeks of the season after you clinched a playoff spot?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of thought about the games early on, right? Like if we maybe just dial down a little bit more and certain games at the beginning of the season or the middle of the season, whatever it is, it makes these points later in the season a little bit easier to handle, right? Because obviously it kind of came down to the wire in terms of home ice and all that stuff. We wanted to win the last game, we ended up losing. So I think for me, it just kind of puts it in perspective, like how every period of the season matters truly, and how it could just make things a little bit easier.
Obviously, home ice is important, but this was a team that couldn't seem to get a lot of points at home early on. In the second half of the season, it's been the complete opposite. What's worked for you guys, and why is that going to be so big going into this first round?
Yeah, I think, things happen, right? Like, obviously we had a weird start in terms of, home ice, but, the coaches did their job, and they, kind of figured it out in terms of trying to coach us to be better at home, and it worked. And obviously things are better at home for us in the second half, and I think that's huge, right? I think we'd rather it this way than the opposite. So in playoffs, it's tough, right? Having that that crowd and a bunch of people coming out and yelling and screaming, the energy in the arena being in our favor is huge. So I think it kind of came out a good time.
Now, this mantra of the rain train and the rain train is rolling is really kind of caught on these last few years, and obviously the players have been into it too. But if the rain train's rolling, what does that mean from your perspective?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just we have such a a powerful team. I think that means just we have everyone going, and we're just doing like little things right. And I think when we play really well, like I feel like we dominate teams. So I think that's what it kind of means in terms of in our locker room and us. And it's when our our PK is good, our power play is good, and everyone's just playing the right way. You know what I mean? I think for us, it's pretty easy to tell when we're playing the right way and when we're not. So I think it's just when we're doing the right things, and our special teams is sharp.
Akil, thanks for doing this. Good luck.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Red line. Ward to his left. Santini behind him. Spins. Backhand scores! Akil Thomas! What a goal!